Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is focus on what you think about. The law of attraction would say that whatever you think about the most, that's what you're going to get. That would imply that you would need to, whatever it is that you desire and, let's say, want the most or desire the most, that's what you should spend as most of your time thinking about. It also implies that the reason that your life is amiss is you're spending most of your time thinking about the wrong thing, right? So, when I was married and being verbally abused by my wife, I was always thinking about why is she doing this to me? What did I do to deserve this? Why is she being this way? Did I deserve this kind of treatment? Maybe there's some karma. Maybe I just don't understand what she's going through. Maybe all this. And then, then I was also hearing what she, when you're being verbally abused, you're kind of listening because it's so traumatic and awful. Yet you kind of internalize it, right? You're at a minimum, you're going to be trying to defend yourself about why this isn't true what she's saying, but the effect is still very dramatic on you, and you're spending a lot of time defending yourself, countering, what she's saying, and then even when you're not there, being under the abuse, you're still traumatized, and you're still thinking about it and wondering about why this has happened to you and what can you do about it, and worrying about the next time it's going to happen, and trying to work your way around her to not have it happen again. So all your thoughts, all your time is spent dealing with this negative in your life, right? So until I personally got to the point where I didn't want to deal with this situation anymore, and I started consciously figuring out how I wanted my life to go, and so I started spending all whatever free time I had thinking about what do I want my life to be, right? How I would make lists of how I want my wife to treat me, how nice she was, how loving, how supportive, how my life is going so well, and I was going the other way, even though at the time, she was still being really hard on me, still giving me grief morning, noon, and night, but I was mentally working it to the positive, right? That mentally I was spending more and more time creating a positive life for myself, and that ultimately I was able to go through with the actual leaving, right? And that's how if you want to make a positive change in your life, you have to spend more time and more mental energy thinking about the positive thing you want in your life, right? You've got to make it real in the sense of you're thinking about it all the time. So even when you're sitting on the toilet, you're thinking about it. The last thing you think about when you go to sleep is that. Hopefully you'll be dreaming about it because you thought about it before you went to sleep. When you wake up, you think about it. When you're driving around, you're thinking about it. In spare moments, in between concentrating on your job, you're thinking about it. When you got other responsibilities in between those responsibilities, you're thinking about it. You want to get that, and that's how you make the positive change. So I've had like these, let's say the leaving my wife was, let's say, the most positive thing I ever did for myself. And you can read about more of that on my website, ahappierman.com. And I have a long article describing my book, Leave Your Wife and Become a Happier Man with the 3-Step System. It's all over that website. You can't miss it. And if you have a bad marriage, a bad wife, or you even think you do, you owe it to yourself to at least check it out. And in the book, I go into great detail this idea of moving your thoughts, changing your mind, changing your mindset to a positive one for yourself instead of a negative one. But you can apply this positive idea to everything. A few years ago, I had changed jobs. I had a very, very, very good job, but I was kind of wooed to a different job, and I thought that other job would be better, and I got into it hoping that it would be better and thinking it would, but it turned out to not be so. There was just so many things wrong with it, so I had to do this mindset again. I had to focus on, I'm going to get a better job. I'm going to do what it takes to get the right job for me, and I spend enormous, all my free time on this, right? The getting of the new job, of a different job that was perfect for me, was my part-time job, right? I went to the normal job 40, 50 hours a week. I had other, a normal life on the side, but all my other time was spent in getting the other job. Everything good in your life is based on you spending a lot of time in the getting of it. And on the converse, everything bad in your life is because you're thinking wrong about about your life. You're letting the life happen to you. And that, I'm not trying to discount the enormous problems that some people have and the horrible circumstances that you're in. Yes, I see that. I understand that. I know that that's true. But I also know that you won't be able to work your way out of that by staying in the same mindset that you're in at the moment, right? So if you're addicted to something, you're not going to get over your addiction by continuing to think about it and base your life upon it. You'll get over your addiction by focusing on a life free from the addiction, right? What type of a life would a person who's not addicted have? That's how you would work your way out of it, right? So when I was getting this new job that I'm in now, that I just love, that's just great for me, and I'm well suited for, and I've got a lot of the respect, and I make a great income, and have a lot of great quality of life benefits, and everything is really good about it. I was consciously thinking about that type of a work situation for myself. That's how I wanted my life to be. I wanted my work life to be the way it is now, and that's how I thought of it. I didn't want the job I had before alternated between extreme tedium and enormous pressure. And I didn't want that. I wanted a job that's challenging, that there's every day you look forward to going there, and that when you're not there, you could just kind of put it aside and think of other things. That job was, well, they're always getting calls, at night, on the weekends, if I had a day off, so you're always dealing with all this crazy stuff that really doesn't matter if you do it today or tomorrow, right? So I wanted the type of job I have now, and I focused on the getting it. And by the focusing on the getting in it, I obtained it. So, to me, that's how you make a positive improvement in your life. That's how, when you look around and you see people with having enormous success in their life, where they're happy, where they have plenty of abundance, where they don't have that many problems, or the problems that they have are minor, that they kind of easily get through with some effort. That's how they live their life, and that's how you need to live your life if you want to have a life like that. And there's gradations. My type of a life, it may not be, for you. You may want something much, much grander, or you may not need as much as I have, right? But that part is up to you to decide. And by focusing on what type of life you want, and doing as much research on what type of a life you want, so it becomes clear to you when you have it. That is kind of a big problem with people, because there's not a lot of the information about lives is a little bit hard to get to. But I would make the thinking about this and doing the research part of the fun, part of the challenge, part of the journey. It may take you a while to get here, right? I didn't get this job that I have now until just a couple years ago, right? And I enjoyed a very good job for 5 or 6 years, but all those other years, they weren't. They're nothing like what I have now. Now I needed those to get to where I'm at now. But again, it's a journey. It's a journey, and you tell this by your feelings. If something is wrong in your life, you got to examine what it is. If you don't feel good, if you're not happy, if you're struggling, something is wrong, and that would indicate to you that you got to spend the time to figure out, well, what's wrong, and what do I need to do to make it right. So give that idea some thought, all for now.